Hello. I'm hoping this works. It's my first try, so this is my flash fiction video blog. This is just what I'm going to talk about, just the questions from the syllabus. We'll go through them. The first one is about the techniques, why I chose the techniques I used, and what mentor texts might have inspired them. First of all, the mentor text that inspired me was definitely Weekends on the Moon. First of all, it made me want to cry, and especially because I relate to it, so I decided to do something kind of similar. And I did techniques like using the title to convey kind of what's going on. I used the lead to do the same thing, and that was kind of the unique form that I wanted to use. It's like a Google search that leads to a flashback, and I'm trying to do deep gazes within that, and I also tried to implement some kind of motif, and there's surprise ending. And we're going to go through them a little bit more in depth. Now, part 2, take me to the places in your draft where you tried these techniques. So I've shared this presentation so you can look at it a little bit more in depth if you want, but I'll just kind of skim through it here. First of all, I called it search and started out with in the bar typed so that you started to kind of understand that I'm doing a Google search, or that the character is doing a Google search. And then it leads to a flashback where they're thinking about mowing the lawn and what sorts of things they saw during that time, like getting weeds stuck in their toes. So then down here, I highlighted my use of a motif that I tried to do, throughout the poem here, here, and again, down here. So, and that was up and down, kind of relating back to the whole flashback, it's kind of like a back and forth, up and down. And then in the end you figure out that the dad they're referencing up here has died, so that's the surprise end. Now, some of these things, I think part 3, is about the revision process. So as I wrote, I went through and I would recite and revise after a couple of words. I would do it after every sentence, and then after I would get to feeling like I had, a section done, I would go back and recite it again and read it out loud to hear it. And then at one point I thought it was finished, and it was only like 130 words. So that was when I went back and I tried to write some of the things here. I'm going to go back. That was when I went back and kind of wrote a lot of this part, because I was able to add in some more details. So now, part 4 is kind of about the things that I changed, and I isolated 5 of them. And in my final draft that I submitted, you'll see that I put links in and comments. These links are to the comments in the draft that are specific to the things I changed. So first of all, we're talking about the title. Originally, I had an ellipse on the title, and that was because, and I explain it here, that when you do a Google search, there's an ellipse. I actually did decide to eliminate that, so that was one change that I made. Another was how I formatted the text. So again, you'll see where I put the comment in the final draft, but originally I hadn't had indents, and in the end I decided to do each sort of section is indented more so after each line. So that was the change I made in the formatting. Then I also made changes in when I decided to indicate the point of view. Originally, I had we in the second sentence here, which I would say indicated point of view, but when Joe edited it, he said I should have moved my point of view words up like I. So I did end up doing that, but not all the way up to the introduction. So that was a small change. Fourth change was how I decided to signify that there was a flashback occurring. Originally, I had the word suddenly here, but I decided to go with the word then, and I explained that here when you see the final draft. The last choice that I made was something to do with style, and it was that originally I had dad as a contraction, but I decided to go ahead and go with dad would, even though I really liked dad, and I explained that here again. Now, the last part is about what mistakes I made when I was editing. First of all, I think my biggest mistakes, and I noticed these while I was writing, were mistakes in redundancy. I would say things that were similar. I would say the same words over and over. So I would have to go back and eliminate that. And then the other thing that I noticed, especially after I got my suggestions from Joe, was that a lot of the times I won't think of the reader. And although I want things to be a bit ambiguous, sometimes I know that I go too far and it's hard for the reader to understand. So I have to do that more. And I would say that's about it. Thank you.